SignalGate continues to dominate the news as Trump talks about auto tariffs and the appeals court rules against his deportations. Here's the top 5 reasons Trump is trending today. All right, number 1 reason Trump is trending today, SignalGate continues to dominate all the news headlines as they continue to try to push this narrative that there was classified information inside of these text message chats. But I'll tell you this, you don't inadvertently add the most deranged lunatic Trump hater in journalism to this National Security Council chat. That is done intentionally. So how that happened, whether they found a backdoor in or it's somebody from on the inside, this thing looks more and more like it was intentionally done to sabotage President Donald Trump. They continue to try to push this narrative that there was classified information inside of these text message chats on Signal, which we have now seen the left-wing lunatic that broke this story, Jeffrey Goldberg, has produced all of the screenshots of the entire conversation, and they show no such thing. So they don't show any war plans. Jeffrey Goldberg walked that back now to attack plans, so he's not even sure what the hell he's actually talking about. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth spoke on this, saying there was no war plans were being discussed. President Donald Trump was asked about this constantly today in the Oval Office, pretty much toning it down to a big nothing burger, a witch hunt, and the like. Also, you had Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell tweeting out, no targets, no locations, no units, no routes, no sources, no methods, no classified information, just another hoax by the Atlantic, foisted on the American people to try to undermine SecDef Hegseth's leadership and President Donald Trump's security agenda. And so National Security Advisor Michael Waltz has taken the fall for this. He's taken the ownership of this, saying it came out of one of his staff members, and he's not quite sure. He doesn't have this guy's name in his contacts. But I'll tell you this, Laura Loomer, I think, comes up with a great connection here, as she always does. She has an exclusive saying Alec Wang, the Chinese Deputy National Security Advisor appointed by President Trump, who is at the center of the SignalGate scandal, is married to U.S. Attorney Candice Chu Wang, a Chinese woman who was one of the key attorneys involved in prosecuting January 6ers. Isn't that interesting? She goes on to say Alex Wang's wife worked under the Obama administration and Biden administration as an assistant United States attorney in the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, where she led the Violence Reduction and Trafficking Offenses section for more than 2 years. She was involved in the prosecution of many J6ers during the Biden regime, under which she was nominated to become a member of the United States Sentencing Commission. Additionally, she served as law clerk to Obama-appointed U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. So there is a connection here with one of the people that is directly in contact here with Michael Waltz, who was supposedly involved in inviting people into this chat. This guy's wife seems to be compromised, so Laura Loomer lighting up X today with that kind of information, that seems more likely than you just happen to accidentally invite one of the biggest Trump derangement syndrome people in the business, a guy that hates Trump more so maybe than any other journalist that's out there. So it seems more likely that this was done intentionally, not inadvertently. Number 2 reason Trump is trending today, the circuit court judges rule against President Donald Trump. The appeals court blocked President Donald Trump's deportations as it relates to him trying to evoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. In a 2-1 decision today, a 3-judge panel sided with the plaintiffs in a suit, further blocking the Trump administration's ability to move forward with its deportation agenda. So, of course, who do you think you have here? The back and forth on Monday was dominated primarily by an Obama appointee who seemed to be clearly on the plaintiff's side. She sparred with the Justice Department lawyer over the Trump administration's implementation of the law in question, saying that the administration violated constitutional due process protections in possibly failing to allow individuals targeted for deportation enough time to seek habeas protections. So you're telling me that you're concerned that due process wasn't given to the illegal aliens that were here in the country, yet you had no problem putting the January 6ers in prison without any due process whatsoever. Isn't that fascinating how they have that going on? But here it is. You have now these the circuit court is standing up for everybody but the Americans. Where were these people when the country was getting flooded by the illegal aliens? Nobody could stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, this is an invasion happening to our country. You're putting everyone's life in danger here. No, they were nowhere to be found. Nobody stopped Joe Biden from flooding the country with illegals, but now that they're here, you can't get them out. They're stopping you from doing it. Could you imagine just how the angel moms must feel in this country watching these court judges, these activist judges rule against President Donald Trump and stop him from deporting some of the most violent people that live in our country that are here illegally? It's sickening what's going on. But here you go again now. So you have the circuit court now ruling against him. The Supreme Court must step in immediately and get this resolved. Number 3 reason Trump is trending today. The auto tariffs are going into place. President Donald Trump held a meeting today in the Oval Office to sign the executive order and to talk about this. There's going to be a 25% tariff placed on all cars that are not made in America. Trump saying that there will be absolutely no tariff for cars that are built in the U.S., and this is what we want to see. We want to see cars made in America. And, it used to be such a thing. I remember back in the day, you'd have people who would take pride in buying an American car because they knew it was being made in America rather than buy, especially, coming off of World War II and into that era, saying, they would look at you like, don't buy those Japanese cars. It was like a pride thing, buy American. And now all of the American cars aren't even being made in America anymore, and it's time to end that. It's time to start making our cars back here in America, bring the manufacturing back. Let's make it here. Let's make it in America. And if it's not made in America, you pay the tariff. That's the way it should be. Donald Trump saying Liberation Day is going to be April 2nd, where this tariff will take place amongst others, and we're going to start taking back our country and taking back the ownership of these trade deals that we've been getting screwed on for years. Number 4 reason Trump is trending today. Trump's HUD Secretary Scott Turner announced that the FHA mortgages for illegal immigrants are coming to an end. Now, could you imagine that such a thing actually existed, where you are having FHA loans given to illegal immigrants? HUD Secretary Scott Turner announced today a new joint effort with the Department of Homeland Security to focus on home ownership for, guess what? You're never going to believe this, for Americans. Today, HUD terminated Biden's taxpayer-backed FHA mortgages for illegal aliens. American taxpayers will no longer subsidize open borders by offering home loans to those who enter our nation illegally. Is this something that doesn't make you want to just bash your head against the wall? It's almost like yesterday with the whole defunding Planned Parenthood thing. Why are we paying for this? Let's focus on, we need to reinvigorate the American families here. We need to help give American families opportunities to grow, stay together, start families, create a legacy, build wealth. We need to be supporting our American families. We're giving FHA loans to illegal immigrants? I mean, come on, this is a ridiculous thing. Thankfully, coming to an end. HUD Secretary Scott Turner making that announcement today. Number 5 reason Trump is trending today. His vice president, J.D. Vance, was visiting with the Marines today, and he could not have gotten a bigger applause, a standing ovation for when he showed up to speak to these guys. He's one of theirs. He's one of their own. He's actually serving lunch to all the young Marines that were there. He was actually even on the range. He was firing away a machine gun. I mean, he's definitely, and of course, he talked about how big the recruitment is up, not just with the Marines, but across all branches of the military, because people want to serve with people who have served and people that are there with them on the ground. Just like Pete Hegseth, he's there doing freaking push-ups with the Navy SEALs. He knows exactly where these guys are because he's been there. These are, Pete Hegseth, combat veteran, highly decorated. J.D. Vance, he's a Marine himself, so they can relate to these guys a lot better than they do to the guys that have been sitting in Washington, D.C. for the last 40 years and haven't been in the fight. And so that's a big difference. Morale is up. Recruitment is up. America's going up. The tariffs are going up if you don't build your car in America. And that's what I got for you guys here. If you enjoy these, let's get the ratings up. Follow the podcast so you can hear the top 5 reasons why Trump is trending each and every day.
Trump is trending, he's everywhere. From the news to the cat babies in our air.